One rapper gets humbled by a rap legend, while this other one thought performances were open to the audience. These are times gangster rappers humble female rappers. Back in 2014, Snoop Dogg decides to check Iggy Azalea, who was riding high off her hit Fancy. The veteran was watching Iggy's quick rise into hip-hop and wasn't feeling how she was carrying herself in the culture. A simple media post turns into something bigger when Snoop drops the Marlon Wayans white chick comparison that got everybody talking. But Iggy would fire back at Snoop, calling him a drug addict aunt. And now, coming at the West Coast legend like that wasn't the smartest move, because Snoop kept the pressure on, dropping more memes, and making it clear that he was making a point about respect in hip-hop.
Say, bitch, you with the wrong and your nigga better check you for what I do, you funky bitch. Yeah, you. Fucking God.
Then her manager, T.I., tried to step in and calm things down, but the damage was done.
Boys and girls, I just got off the phone with my homeboy Tip, the king of Atlanta, and it's officially over. No more bad talk. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Snoop said what he said, and then others weighed in. The conversation got pretty big. People started talking about who gets to claim a space in hip-hop culture. Even Eminem jumps in later with Bang, dropping lines like,
"Compare me to Manson, Marilyn, or Charles. Compare me to Nas, Biggie, or Pac. Do not compare me to that Iggy."
While Iggy tried to defend her position in hip-hop, the confrontation with Snoop marked a turning point in how she is seen within the culture. Getting checked by a West Coast legend's pretty rough. Disrespecting an OG's family takes it somewhere else. When Azalea Banks steps into T.I.'s territory in 2014, she learned what happens when you disrespect an OG's family. The situation heats up with T.I. dropping No Mediocre, featuring Iggy Azalea. The track wasn't just another hit, it was T.I. flexing his industry muscle, turning Banks' own words against her.
"All I fuck is bad bitches. I don't want no mediocre."
The Harlem rapper takes it to Twitter calling T.I.'s wife Tiny mediocre, and the Grand Hustle boss wasn't about to let that slide. T.I. was already established as a heavyweight back then, and he came at Banks with a full force of Atlanta swagger on Instagram, putting her on notice and making it clear family was off limits. T.I. hits up TMZ, keeping it G and making it clear.
What you want to say about me? Leave my family out of it. I chew your throat off your neck if I need to.
Banks fired back on Hot 97, trying to paint T.I. as insecure, but the damage was done.
Well, the situation sad cause I am a very distinguished individual and I keeps it real. And she need to get her man before she come talk to me. Cause yeah. And get the fuck out of here. Where the fuck did you learn how to read? Freedmen's Bureau? Did you get your GED in jail?
While T.I. went back to building his empire, Banks kept stirring up drama with other people, but the culture remembered how quick T.I. was to check anyone coming at his family. Speaking of industry vets putting people in check, this next one shows how quick a hit collaboration can turn into a brutal takedown. 50 Cent and Lil Kim can show us how quickly things can switch up in hip-hop. Way back in 2003, these two were riding high with their hit Magic Stick. But by 2005, 50 was taking shots at Kim on Piggy Bank.
"Yeah, yo, bring the condoms. I'm in room 203. Freak look like Kim before the surgery."
The Queens rapper wasn't done there. He kept the pressure on with tracks like I Smell Pussy and Back Down, plus linking up with Eminem and Obi Trice on Love Me, where he went at Kim again.
"Now Shorty Mama in the precinct hollering rap. I'm convinced, man, something really wrong with these hoes. I thought Lil Kim was hot, then she started fucking with her nose."
Things stayed quiet for a minute, but social media brought that back to life in 2021. 50, known for his relentless trolling, started posting memes comparing Kim to a leprechaun. Kim tried to stop it, but the damage was done. And from surgery jokes to ghostwriters, this next one's gonna prove that even with the most commercial success, nothing's gonna protect you from getting called out by hip-hop's elite. When Azalea hit the scene in the early 2010s, she was doing numbers. But not everybody in hip-hop was feeling her style. Between her accent switching and that one thing about her being a runaway slave master, a lot of folks thought she was just playing around with the culture. Things got interesting at the 2014 BET Hip Hop Awards, with Kendrick Lamar stepping up to the mic for his cypher. Nobody was ready for what he was about to drop.
"I'm the best in the game. I'm not talking about you. You're just a white girl with a big ass.
The crowd goes ballistic, knowing exactly who he's talking about. That little cipher became bigger than both of them, sparking endless debates about cultural appropriation in hip-hop. Iggy was out here catching heat from all sides about her accent, her lyrics, even rumors about ghostwriters. But it gets worse when she copies Kendrick's song and rapped it like it was her own freestyle. Maybe Kendrick didn't know how far that would go, but it became a turning point for Iggy. And yeah, getting exposed at award shows might hurt. But this next one takes us back to when rap battles could turn deadly serious. It all started heating up after Tupac got shot at Quad Studios in Manhattan back in '94. As he was headed upstairs to record with Biggie and Lil Kim's crew, he got hit 5 times in the lobby. While recovering in prison on unrelated charges, Pac started believing that Bad Boy Records, including Biggie and anyone connected to him, had set up the shooting. So Pac signs on death row in '95 and things get real personal. He saw Lil Kim's close relationship with Biggie and Bad Boy as part of the problem. Kim was rising up as the first lady of Bad Boy at the time, dropping verses on tracks like Player's Anthem and getting ready to release Hardcore. Then came Hit 'Em Up in June '96, with Pac unleashing all that built-up anger from that shooting. He goes after everybody in Bad Boy's circle, getting impersonators to mock him. There's a scene where someone's dressed like Kim dancing around, making it clear that Pac wasn't just beefing with the guys.
Lil Caesar, go ask your homie how I'll leave you. Cut your young ass up, leave you in pieces, now be deceased. Lil Kim don't walk around with real G's, quick to snatch your ass off the streets.
The lyrics hit pretty hard. Pac wasn't playing. He wanted everyone associated with Bad Boy to feel it. But Kim wasn't about to just take that. She responds with a track called Big Mama Thang that would fire right back at Pac. But here's where it gets interesting. Biggie steps in and shuts it down. According to Lil C's, who was there at the time,
Lil Kim was ready to respond, but Big was like, nah, we not doing that.
Looking back, Big might have been trying to keep things from getting even more out of hand. Many beefs can just stay in the studio, but this next artist learned the hard way that you can't come to a roasting if you can't take the heat. That whole thing between Nick Cannon and Azealia Banks started with Banks pulling up to Wild 'N Out, thinking she's just there to perform. Instead, she ends up getting roasted by the cast, which is pretty much what the show's known for.
My boy Nick Cannon is so petty!
How petty is he?
He couldn't get Carter B, so he got Azalea ugly.
Wait a minute.
Now, most people on the show can take a joke and fire back, but Banks wasn't feeling it. When the cast started dropping colorist jokes, she gets all emotional.
Sorry, can I just say that was very anti-black. We are not, no colorism here on this
Get him
stage.
back! My girl Azalea Banks is so...
The show tried to save face by giving Banks more airtime, but things got more awkward when nobody vibed with her music performance.
Wait a second, do y'all like follow Instagram and stuff? You know the boy that was like gay, and then he came back out and was like, oh, I don't like men's no more. Yeah, he was like, don't he look like?
After the show, Banks takes to Instagram to go off about the whole thing. She blasted that show for having pre-planned colorist jokes, and even takes shots at one of the cast members. She says,
I did Wild 'N Out today. There were tons of pre-planned colorist jokes, and of course, cry baby cried. Some little scrawny black Atlanta twink was prepared for me.
But she didn't stop there. She went low by bringing up Nick Cannon's lupus diagnosis, suggesting he'd be dead by the end of the year. She said,
if I were trying to make fun of Nick Cannon for having lupus and being weak and sickly, if I made a joke that said he'd be dead by the end of the year, then Azealia Banks is the bad guy, right?
Nick kept it classy though, responding on Instagram with,
don't you hate when you create your own storms, but you forget your own umbrella? At Azealia Banks, we're praying for you, queen.
But Azealia doubled down.
And Nick Cannon, you don't have to pray for me. Pray for your fucking immune system, okay? You don't have to pray for me.
It turns real dark in 2023 when Banks crosses another line nobody should ever cross. After DC Young Fly's partner, Miss Jackie O, tragically passed away, Banks goes on another Instagram rant that just shocked everybody, saying,
damn, DC Young Fly spent years disguising his own deeply rooted hatred of self as jokes pointed at women's beauty.
And then followed it up by saying,
I'm happy I cried and moved on. That Jackie O girl must have been so deeply insecure about herself, and the nerve of DC to call such a gorgeous woman as Azealia Banks ugly on national television while a bunch of black people laughed.
She tried to frame Miss Jackie O's death as karma for DC Young Fly roasting her on Wild 'N Out years ago. Taking it further, she makes disturbing comments about how Miss Jackie O died on May 31st, 2023, the same day as Banks' 32nd birthday. Can't make this shit up. She said,
Dead at 32 exactly on my 32nd birthday. May 31st, 2023 in Miami, Florida. You niggas gonna learn to stop fucking with me.
The whole community and fans alike were disgusted by Banks using someone's death to settle an old score from a comedy show. That wasn't beef anymore. It was Banks being disrespectful on a whole new level that even her critics didn't expect. So from taking jokes too personally to this next wild moment, some artists really need to learn when it's not their time to shine. Way back at the 2009 VMAs, Lil Mama thought she was gonna have her moment, which she does end up creating one of hip-hop's most awkward moments. Now, during what was supposed to be a Jay-Z and Alicia Keys big New York anthem moment with Empire State of Mind, Lil Mama had other plans. Maybe it was that New York energy hitting different that night, or she just got caught up in herself, but Lil Mama decides to just climb up on stage, uninvited. While Jay and Alicia were both closing out their performance, she pops up out of nowhere trying to strike a pose. The look on Jay's face, priceless. This wasn't part of the plan. Alicia jumps in too, asking what Lil Mama was thinking. The lip gloss rapper tried to explain herself, saying that she was just feeling proud of her city, but ain't nobody trying to hear that. That whole thing ended up being bigger than her music.
I actually thought it was the equivalent to what Kanye did to Taylor Swift, but nobody really talked about that because I'm not a little sweet girl from the middle of America.
Were you angry?
Yeah, I was a little angry, yeah, to be honest. But you know, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fight Little Mama?
You look crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna tussle with her.
Years later, people are still talking about it whenever you hear her name. She tried to bounce back, but that VMA stuck to her like super glue. Didn't matter how many hits she had before. She became known as the girl who crashed Jay-Z's performance.
Jay-Z wasn't feeling that. Jay-Z feels like I disrespected him as opposed to praising him, respecting him, honoring him, sharing that moment with him.